Singapore, often known as the land of strict regulations, is an island nation situated in Southeast Asia on the Malayan Peninsula, just 135 kilometers from the equator. The country covers an area of approximately 728 square kilometers, with its farthest points only 49 kilometers apart. Renowned for its stringent and distinctive laws, one of the most notable decrees is the ban on chewing gum throughout the nation. While some laws may initially appear self-evident, the government imposes severe penalties on offenders, ranging from fines to corporal punishment, imprisonment, and even capital punishment. Before delving into these peculiar laws and prohibitions, let's first explore a brief overview of Singapore's history. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and show your support by liking this video and staying tuned to the White Door channel. Beneath the contemporary facade of Singapore lies a narrative of triumph, shaping this small country into the cleanest, wealthiest, and most prosperous nation with the lowest crime rate globally. Singapore stands as an exemplary model of significant economic development, having ascended from obscurity to its present status. In 1819, the British military arrived, establishing a port and initiating colonial rule, which endured for about a century and a half. In 1963, Singapore joined the Federation of Malaysia, gaining independence in 1965. Amid skepticism regarding Singapore's survival, lacking industry and natural resources, and entirely reliant on foreign nations, its population emerged as its sole asset. Therefore, the government invested in its people. Equipped with a robust legal system, affordable labor, low taxes, and a progressively educated populace, Singapore evolved into a magnet for foreign investors. Notably, Singapore boasts the world's second busiest commercial port. Lee Kuan Yew, the founder of Singapore, held the distinction of being the world's longest-serving prime minister. His vision prioritized significantly elevated living standards for Singaporeans, which were achieved in less than 30 years. Although some regarded Lee Kuan Yew as a dictator, Singapore's current state underscores the populace's substantial gains in the global economy. Collectively known as the Four Asian Tigers, Hong Kong, Taiwan, South Korea, and Singapore exemplify economic prowess. Examining Singapore's demographics, one identifies a populace devoid of a common religion, language, culture, or historical identity, constituting a remarkably diverse cultural tapestry. Notably, there is no singular Singaporean identity, as the entirety of the populace has migrated from other nations. With a population of approximately 5.7 million, 76% comprise Chinese, 13% Malaysian, 9% Indian, and the remaining 4% representing diverse nationalities. Notably, Singapore has no official religion, with 34% practicing Buddhism, 18% Christianity, 14% Islam, and 10% Taoism, while 18% identify as non-religious, evidenced by its impressive 97.3% literacy rate. Singaporeans epitomize an educated populace, characterized by logical, methodical dispositions. Often perceived as a city of both fines and penalties, visitors frequently consider Singapore one of the most uneventful countries in Asia. Nevertheless, the strict regulations and prohibitions that govern Singapore apply not only to its residents, but also to all those who set foot in the nation. Travelers witness firsthand the discipline underpinning this meticulously maintained, prosperous, and pristine country. The government, to enforce a law, declares anything that obstructs the enforcement of the law as prohibited. For example, littering by chewing gum is prohibited in this country. The government has declared chewing gum consumption, selling chewing gum in this country, and even possessing chewing gum as a crime. The punishment for chewing gum is a fine of 1,000 Singapore dollars. Importing chewing gum into this country for commercial purposes carries a punishment of 100,000 Singapore dollars. The penalty for the use, possession, and trafficking of drugs in this country is not a cash fine, but rather execution. In Singapore, the punishment for spitting on the ground is $1,000. In fact, any action that opposes societal laws is illegal. In some elevators, there is a sensor that locks the elevator doors on a person who spits inside until the police arrive. It might seem strange to you, but in Singapore, absenteeism is also illegal. If someone gossips about you behind your back, you can easily complain about that person. Lying to the judiciary in Singapore is a serious crime, and that is why no one tells lies to the judiciary. Since 2019, the penalty for spreading fake news on the internet in this country is 10 years in prison. Anything that hinders the happiness and tranquility of others is taken seriously in Singapore. Playing obscene songs in public places is prohibited. If someone disturbs others with the bad sound of a musical instrument, the government imposes a cash fine or 3 months of imprisonment. Websites, magazines, and films with sexual content are prohibited in this country. Walking naked at home is also prohibited. For example, if your curtain is open and you are naked in the house and you want to put on your clothes, if someone sees you naked and reports you, you will be sentenced to 3 months in prison or have to pay 2,000 Singapore dollars. Homosexuality is prohibited in Singapore, and the punishment for it is 2 years in prison. In this country, you must sit in designated taxi seats. It means you cannot hail a taxi in the middle of the road, and you must use the pedestrian crossing to cross. Otherwise, you will be fined 20 Singapore dollars for the first offense, 1,000 Singapore dollars for the second offense, and 3 months in prison for the third offense. Smoking in public places is strictly prohibited. You should only smoke in designated areas. The penalty for smoking in public places is 1,000 Singapore dollars. Anyone entering Singapore is only allowed to bring an open pack of cigarettes into the country. The penalty for unauthorized use of Wi-Fi is 3 months in prison. The most popular fruit in Singapore is durian. Durian is a valuable fruit in Malay culture, and in some areas of the country, it is even considered sacred. But this fruit has a very bad and disturbing smell, and that is why bringing this fruit, even in a fruit pack, into public transport and centers is prohibited. In fact, this prohibition is not limited to just smelly fruit. Anything that has a bad smell is prohibited. If you emit a bad odor and bother people, you may be fined for it. Eating anything in the metro incurs a fine of 500 Singapore dollars. Another interesting prohibition in Singapore is feeding birds. The reason for this ban is due to the pollution of the environment. Feeding birds carries a 500 Singapore dollar fine. More than 90% of the population of this country are homeowners, and 80% of these homes are built by the government. Of course, these homes are not fully sold to the people. They are only rented to the people for 99 years. If you die before paying off the installments of your home, because this home belongs to the government, you can no longer leave this home as an inheritance to your children. In Singapore, in addition to imprisonment, whipping is also common, but only men between the ages of 18 and 50 are whipped. In 2015, 2 young Germans were lashed and imprisoned for graffiti on the streets. There are many examples like this. Crimes such as assault, money laundering, and deliberate murder are also punished by execution. In fact, the main reason for the order, cleanliness, and prosperity of this country is the strict implementation of these laws. In addition, the citizens of this country can voice their complaints through the WhatsApp application. It means that Singaporean citizens have to follow these laws as they grow up with these laws and receive training. Singapore's government greatly benefits from tourism, which serves as a significant source of income. The country's alluring beauty and unique attractions, combined with its strategic location along popular tourist routes, such as Australia, Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, and Bali, contribute to its thriving tourism industry. Notably, Singapore's Changi Airport, ranked as the world's best airport since 2013, stands out as much more than a typical airport. Reflecting Singapore's lush greenery, the airport features captivating attractions like a butterfly garden, cactus park, orchid park, and botanical garden. Moreover, it boasts the world's largest indoor waterfall, fueled by rainwater, making it a true marvel to behold. Singaporean passport is the most valid passport in the world, after the Japanese passport. One of the must-see and popular places in this country is the Botanical Garden, which is listed in the UNESCO World Heritage List. Singapore is exactly like a botanical garden. During your visit to this country, you might see plants that you've never seen before in your life. One of the most famous buildings in Singapore is the Marina Bay Sands Hotel, which also has the most famous swimming pool in the world, located at the highest point of this hotel. This futuristic building is not only built for visual beauty, but also to address the problem of water scarcity in Singapore. This building is designed to collect rainwater and use it for irrigation. There is no agriculture in Singapore. Everything is imported. Singapore has a tropical climate, with high temperatures and humidity throughout most days of the year and heavy rainfall. The maximum temperature difference throughout the year is only 3 or 4 degrees. The biggest symbol of this country is a mythical creature called the Merlion, which has the head of a lion and the body of a fish. According to legends, when the Indonesian prince Sang Nila Utama arrived in the current Singapore in the 14th century, he saw a lot of lions, and he named this place Singapura, which means Lion City. This name has evolved into its present form over time. Singapore was one of the countries that many people like to know about. If you'd like me to make a video about another country for you, please write the name of that country in the comments section. Thank you for being with us until the end of this video. If you like these kinds of videos, be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and write your comments in the comment section. Thank you.